Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I am the CEO, president, and founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley, Palo Alto, California. I'm a serial entrepreneur with 17 startups under the belt and several unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion. I'm also the co-founder of Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believed in intellectual capacities evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. So today I have an incredible guest. Sarah Han is a manager at KOTRA. She is a former Korean American radio journalist. She worked for Sugar and Company in PR and content. She graduated from Yonsei University with her MBA and Global MBA, and Hankook University of Foreign Studies, and is a doctoral candidate. So with that, we're going to talk about a little bit about the Korean experience and going global. Hi, Sarah. How are you today?
Hi, how are you, Gary?
Good to see you today. So tell us a little bit about your journey. How in the world you're at Hankook for your doctoral candidate. You went to Yonsei, but how did you get to Silicon Valley?
Well, when I arrived here, I actually didn't know this was Silicon Valley. I just married my husband, who was Korean American, who happened to live in San Jose. And when I was first arrived here, I was a little bit disappointed because in Seoul, there are tall, high-rising buildings, great skyscrapers, but San Jose is all one-story buildings except for the downtown areas. But one time I passed a huge building and it said Apple. And another
Oh,
time I passed a building and it says Google. And
uh-huh.
I was kind of thinking, wait a minute, where am I? And then I got to find out here I am in Silicon Valley. So I was so excited to get to know that.
So, what are the cultural differences coming over? So, growing up in Korea, right? But
Mhm.
what are the cultural differences coming over to the US? What were some of the things that you said, boy, this is a whole lot different, besides the kimchi's not as good?
I think there might be some generation differences within Korean people,
Yeah.
but if I really generalize, forgive me if I'm wrong. Well, American culture is more like individualistic.
Hmm.
So you say what you want to say, but the Korean culture is more like a Confucianistic element is mixed in there. So there is invisible norm that you have to fit into in order to be included in the group or the society. So it can be described as a collectivistic culture, but individualism is a playing in with the element of collectivism. So we have something called like a nunchi. So if you are a new employee in a company, you're not express yourself. You actually see, watch what is a hidden norm in the organization, and then you try to fit in there. So that is the best
Really? So
way
you
to
don't
describe.
say anything. You keep your mouth shut and
Well, the thing is, even though there are things or expressions that you want to express, but the thing is, you don't know the whole corporate culture there, right? What the values that people in the office have. So before you understand that, it is not right or it is not smart to move in and express yourself. So maybe that is only me, but uh, that is how I was cultured in South Korea.
interesting. And so
Mhm.
how long have you been here?
I've been here for like 7 years.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So what's the weather compared to Korea? What's the weather? Is there a difference
Oh,
in
the
the weather?
weather
Is it the
here,
same?
the reason why the properties are so expensive here is because you have a climate tax in
Oh,
here.
there you go. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's right.
So
There's a climate.
winter is incredibly warm here. We
Mhm.
have very cold winter in Korea, and then summer is very, very humid. But if you look at the beauty of it, you can enjoy the seasonal sports.
Yeah, no, I
So
agree with you. How do you, so what do you do? Like, what's having fun? So when you grow up, what do people do for fun? Like, do they go skiing or do they travel or what do they do? What are some of the things that would be like a normal weekend? What would you do on a normal weekend?
well, again, that is also a general question. So, if I do not represent the whole Korean population, but I will express my own understanding about it. Well, people tend to love sports a lot these days, and Korean people love soccer. The World Cup is
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, yeah.
So
Really?
this Thursday, at Korean Palace, the restaurant, we're getting together at 5 o'clock in the morning to cheer for it. So we
Wow,
love
that's incredible.
soccer. Yeah, we love watching sports, and then also doing sports ourselves. Like golf is really popular, and ski is really popular. So just like America, people love sports, and also we have this a night culture. So there are beautiful cafes and places to visit uh, in a safe way during the night. So
Well,
I know.
that's interesting because you don't see that in San Jose. There's nobody I know walks around there at nighttime. When I'm at, I've done that a few times, and it's kind of there's not a lot of people walking around. No,
That's
I don't
right.
know many cafes actually. I
Yeah.
do in
So
Palo Alto, but not in San Jose.
yeah, relatively, Korea is very safe country, and then you can walk around during the winter, and there are lots of restaurants and cafes open 24 hours, and you can enjoy it nightlife. So many people who love Korea, they say, I miss the nightlife in Korea.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot to
I hear
enjoy.
that. I hear that a lot from people that from Paris, from London, from all over the world.
Hmm.
Actually, I was in Barcelona this summer, and I got to tell you, those people, they're out. They don't come out till after the sun goes down because it's so
Mm,
blasted hot. So
I
the time
see.
that they're out is like 8 o'clock at night to like 3 o'clock in the morning,
Hmm.
and it's like families are walking around. It's crazy, actually.
Oh, I see.
It's interesting watching them because you don't see that in San Jose. You don't see families going around at 10, 11 o'clock walking down the center off Heading or someplace like that. They're just not there. It's interesting. So you came over 7 years ago. How
Mhm.
in the world did you get involved in all these Korean startups? Because I know you worked for the agency. By the way, I don't know what the agency is, the agency of Silicon Valley. What is that?
Oh, well, I introduced the Korean technologies and companies into Silicon Valley. And then how it started is I started to help Korean companies with interpretation and then presentation. And then that's how all began. And then in one exhibition, I was doing some supporting, interpreting, and making presentations. And I bump into some team leader of KOTRA. And then they started to ask me to be involved in the event. And then here I am. I became like a full-time employee at KOTRA. So
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's
that's how it
amazing.
all
So
began.
tell us a little bit about what KOTRA is doing, and because there's a lot of there's some incredible Korean companies. I know I met some over the last few
Hmm.
weeks, you
That's
know, with you and some of the other folks. But what I hadn't seen before 10 years ago. I hadn't seen that many companies coming over, small companies,
right.
startups. But
Hmm.
why are there so many incredible companies from Korea now?
Well, I'm so proud of these companies. They are working really hard. Many startup companies around the world, they work really hard. But I think the condition that we're in um, is just like Israel, right? So they have a lot of wars, and then the startups are developing. That's what I heard. Startups are developing some measures to win the battles and stuff like that. So because of that situation, the startups are really brilliant and whatnot. Korea, our situation is like we don't have a lot of natural resources. We cannot but depend on human resources. And then that is a way to survive. And then we cannot but be export oriented in many ways. So that is a reason why we have to bring up this startups, and then these startup entrepreneurs are coming up with great ideas to survive. So, problems always bring the great solutions. And then without problems, well, there's no motivation to come up with solutions. So I
No,
think that,
I mean, it's amazing to me. So, just to that point, so do people think about it? Like, do they think about the potential of North Korea coming in and starting some problems? Is that what's really driving it? You're saying that's the whole idea is to be able to win and to
well,
create.
I am, yeah, the situation itself is very tragic, and we need unification. But that kind of threat itself that helps a lot, ironically. But what I'm saying, that core message that I want to deliver is the fact that we do not have a lot of resources, but human resources, and
Yeah, no, I agree.
technology is something that we need to lean toward so that we can be a successful export-oriented country.
Well, I mean, you're doing an incredible job. There's incredible companies from.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just incredible. You look at the
Thank you. Thank you very much.
you know the larger companies, the Samsungs of the world, right?
Mhm.
The LGs of the world. The really these incredible companies have made an impact on our lives and changed things, right, in a
Mhm.
positive way. I remember my dad telling me stories when I was a kid, when he was in Korea, right? He was in the war, and he was telling me how desolate things were at the time. But I mean, for a country to do what you've done, it just really proves that capitalism, and I'm not trying to be political, but creating an economy that supports the people in the market has a vastly different appeal and a vastly different impact on people's lives, right? I mean, it's amazing that on the other side of the border you've got North Korea, and they really like are in the Stone Ages, and you guys are like in the leading the technology in the world.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Right. So there is a stark contrast between these two companies' economy system, and then we are, even though there is a little bit of economic downturn, I think we will eventually thrive, I believe, and then hope that the North Korea can enjoy the boon of South Korea's prosperity, and then work together to raise the level of the lives of people in there. So that is our hope.
I got a chance to address the United Nations last year on technology as a tool
Wow.
for peace.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why they asked me. I probably I have no idea, but they asked me to do it, and I talked about we need to figure out how to work together to solve the problems of the planet, not fight. The end. We need to figure out how to be able to extend our lives, not shorten them. We need to figure out how to increase the food supply. By 2050, with a double the amount of food, and we can't increase the number of cattle because 26% of the pollution is from cows, methane gas. So we need to lose plant-based protein. So there's incredible ways that we can work together, and
Mm.
amazing you're doing what you're doing. I saw the companies that were there that were just over the last couple of weeks when I was out in California. It was really an honor to be there. So what's
Wow.
happening? How has it changed over the last couple of years, Sarah, from your standpoint? I know you've been there since 2019, but from 2019 over the last 3 years, how have things changed in terms of the number of Korean companies coming over? What the acceptance level is in Silicon Valley? I mean, how is it?
Well, the thing is, sadly, because of COVID, the number of companies who are coming for the last 3 years has drastically reduced. But now it starts to pick up at
Yeah.
this moment. Yeah. So, but technology-wise, Korean people and Korean startups are very quick to adapt in a new environment. And then Korean people made this word called untech, untech economy, right? So it
Mhm.
is the opposite word of contact. So
Yeah.
on-tech is the word that was invented by Korean uh, organization, and then they started to be adapted toward this on-tech economy, right? So they developed, for example, I think you saw this company called the Mechathon, right? So
Hmm.
developed this a hologram touch screen. So that way, there are new trend of technologies led by this COVID
Oh, that was the
situation.
one that could go in the elevator. He was showing us the elevator thing, how it could go in an
Yeah,
elevator, and yeah, no, he was incredible. That's
yeah, that's right. So
incredible.
it can be applied in many ways, but I think it was the first time in the human history. I think it's safe to say that people started to think about uh, very careful about touching the stuff around them, right? So, yeah, so I think we're very quick to understand that and then develop technology toward that. So, yeah, so Korean people are very fast in that, I think.
No, it's fantastic. Did it take you when you came over? Just a question for you. I mean, the food isn't just. I love Korean food, by the way. I studied martial
Mhm.
arts for many years, and I had a Korean instructor who didn't speak English at the time, or limited English, and he taught me about kimchi. But I had to learn the hard way. He liked it really spicy. But did you find were there a lot of differences, like the food coming over here? Did it take you a while to get used to it, or were you globalized enough that it wasn't a big deal? Did it take you a while to get used to, Americanized food?
Well, I think um, Seoul, where I lived, is a
Hmm.
pretty much cosmopolitan. So what you have here is there, and then I think what we have there in Seoul, they're here, but a little bit fusion way. So uh, I miss Korean food a lot.
But I
Um,
bet Seoul has nicer restaurants in San Jose. I love San Jose, by the way. But don't you think it's a little bit more cosmopolitan being in Seoul rather than I don't know, San Jose, and I have a place there too, right? It's like,
uh,
you got the spaghetti factory and you got a couple Greek restaurants and that kind of thing. But I bet the level that they have in Seoul, maybe I'm wrong, is a lot, and I haven't been there, but it's probably a lot different, right? It's a lot when it's French, it's probably incredibly French, right?
I think mostly in Korea, the cook there are exceptional cases, but cook and then restaurant owners are mostly Korean, and then all the foods are kind of Koreanized,
Ah,
serving
I got it. I
Korean
got it.
market, right? I think in here, the beauty of being in San Jose and going to different kinds of restaurant is like you can taste Vietnamese noodles that was cooked by Vietnamese, right? And then
Yeah,
you
okay.
can enjoy real Italian pizza, something like that. So a lot of variety of ethnicity, form a community, and there I think it's just like a salad bowl. You can taste this and that, and that is really enjoyable. I really like it.
I see. I got it. Interesting. So, what do you think? What's going to happen over the, because I noticed it too, Sarah, when I was out in California um, over the last 2 months. I've been out to the a place out there a lot. That the number of startups has dramatically picked up that are coming out there. Would you see that like over the last 2 or 3 months? Have you seen a big uptick in the number of startups, or is it just my imagination?
I think yes, of course, because the COVID situation is getting better, and more startups are seeking uh, the greatest ecosystem, which is Silicon Valley, I think, so far. And then that's why a lot of startups are coming into the Silicon Valley, and the number is increasing. Yes, I believe so.
So
Mhm.
what does Silicon Valley offer, right? So from an outsider looking in, I mean, you've been here 7 years, but what does it offer that you can't find other places? So if you're in Korea, what does it offer to those Korean companies that they can't really find there? What do you, besides the market opportunity, et cetera, but what do you find that's different?
Hmm. I think the Silicon Valley culture and Silicon Valley spirit is something that we need to learn, and also the ecosystem is kind of different. Yeah, I think Silicon Valley accelerators are reaching their arms into Korea now, and then now it is connected globally. So accelerator like Mind Bridge, PNB, they already have existence and the presence in South Korea. So it's kind of getting mingling, and then Korean cities, they want to build up huge infrastructures where they can nurture these startups and whatnot. And there's a huge investment there. But this ecosystem is something that is unique about this Silicon Valley. So lots of VCs and entrepreneur spirits, that has a history
Mhm.
here, right? And then I think it's a second to none. So there are lots of other areas that they claim that they have a great ecosystem, like Silicon Alley and Silicon Valley somewhere. Is it Silicon Alley Valley? So
Yeah, the
they
alley.
have different kinds of names, right?
There's Silicon Beach, there's Silicon Alley, but
Yeah.
in reality, there's still only one Silicon Valley because Stanford University, the really heartbeat of it, Sand Hill Road, where you have some of the top investors in the road, and they've been doing it since the 50s. So it came out of the defense industry, right? So a lot of the semiconductors, et cetera, so it was set up because of that. Most people don't realize today, that there's $290 billion worth of dry powder. A
Mm.
lot of that dry powder is located in Silicon Valley, and that was from an event that I went to at Salesforce Tower, a Korean event last week. $290 billion worth of dry powder. That's a lot,
That is right.
right?
So, in terms of money, that can be invested, and then in terms of the history, so this ecosystem was not built overnight. Even though you have all these, structures, and then try to make something work just like Silicon Valley, there's nothing like Silicon Valley, I think.
Well, and the weather, you're right about it, because
Yeah.
the one thing they forget sometimes is that how many places in the world can you go to the beach and the same day you can go skiing in the mountains,
Right. I
right?
love that.
And that's amazing.
I,
And then,
I love the beach, so I sometimes drive down to the Highway 1, and
oh my
then,
God,
oh
that's
my
beautiful.
God, that is a breathtaking scenery that you cannot see anywhere. So I really love being in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is you're not too far away. I remember going down to San Diego and going out to the desert and going out to
Hmm.
the beautiful desert there, Palm Desert and um, Palm Springs, and going around there. And it's just in where else? I mean, there aren't many states there aren't many countries on the planet where you can have so many of the same things in one place. Incredible. So, what are the kind of companies that you're seeing right now? What are if you look at the three areas, what do they focus on? Those Korean startups. What are the three areas? AI, I mean, um, manufacturing. What are the areas that they're focusing on?
I think we do a little bit of everything. There was like an on-tech trend, but now we're back to normal, and then we're focusing on AI, metaverse to some degree, and then many technologies. But that is not my specialty. I'm sorry, Gary, because
Mhm.
I have not reviewed all this data to say that Korea is focusing on something and something. But what I can say is I can introduce these companies that I'm supporting in Silicon Valley. And I can proudly introduce these companies and their needs now. Uh, Gary, you can see, right? And
Yeah,
then, great.
yeah, yeah.
And, do you think it is good thing for the blind to go to the museum?
For blind to go to the museum,
Hmm.
well, is it good for them to go? Sure, it's another experience, of course, and they can listen.
But, I actually heard a sad response about it. Somebody around me said that, they cannot see. Why would they go to the museum? What would they expect to experience? Of course, in New York City, you have Metropolitan City Museum, right?
Yeah,
And then there are sculptures from Rome era. Those are all fake, and you can touch them, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. There you go. Well, that's it. Well, and hey, Sarah, listen to this. So I hear your logic, the museum thing. If you're blind, you go to the museum. But the
mhm.
other thing is, some people can't swim, but they still take a bath.
I know. Yeah, so I'd like to introduce this beautiful, warm-hearted company called Dot Inc. And this Dot Inc.
Mhm.
is helping the blind experience the museum. They developed the pad, consists of 280 dots actuators, and
Mhm.
that it can actually beautifully show the graphics. So far, the blind could read the brailleys, the text. It was a word of text only. But now they can feel the graphics with this touchpad.
That's
And they can go to the museum, and then the museum, whatever is displayed in there can be expressed on this display, and then they can actually feel it, and then, oh, okay, it's shaped like this. Oh, this is a mountain, something like that. So
that's really
now,
cool. That's really neat.
yeah, now accessibility rights.
Mhm.
The possibility is even greater with the advent of this technology. So I'm so proud of this company, Dot Inc.
Mhm.
So how they're devoted with socially excluded, people's convenience and whatnot. So yeah, so this is one company that I'm supporting, and their dream is going directly to NASDAQ.
There you go. There you go.
And
Right.
there's a huge market potential, I think. And then if you focus only 10% of the blind globally, that will be the 10 billion market. $10 billion market. That is really huge. And then they got a $30 million contract from the United States, Ministry of Education, United States.
Wow.
That
Well, congratulations to Dot Inc. That sounds like a wonderful story, Sarah.
Yeah, so within 4 years, this contract will be carried out. So, for the blind people to get educated in a particularly STEM field.
Mhm.
So, I think this pad can help greatly. And then, those of you who have a museum, you can actually have improved accessibility rights for the blind, and for all, they have the kiosk also, where they can have this dot, the tactile pad technology, along with this sign language, and then the level adjustment and whatnot. So
I love the idea. Listen,
yeah, it's
we're coming up
warm-hearted. I'm Yeah,
we're coming
I
up
got
to
to
the top of
warm-hearted.
the show.
Mhm.
So we're coming up to the last couple of minutes.
Oh, I see.
So in summary, um, if you can summarize, and then also, how do people get a hold of you? Because I'm sure some of the audience are going to want to reach out because we're all
Oh,
over the world.
really? Thank you very much. Okay. My email address, are you ready to write down? Okay. WOWSARAH, wow, Sarah, and my last name, HAN, at KOTRA, KOTRA, Silicon Valley, SV.org.
All
So
right, that's great. That's
it's kind
great.
of long, but wow, Sarah Han, there are two H's at kotrasv.org. So email me, and then I have other companies. Oh my God. Oh, I think I should have focused more on the companies that I support. I have this sound wave technology company, and then some other good companies that I'd like to introduce to you. But hopefully I can have another chance with you,
Yeah,
Gary.
yeah, yeah. No, we'll have it again. So, Sarah, thanks for taking time of your busy schedule to join us today. And thanks to all my audience for tuning in one more time to GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And I'm your host, Gary Fowler. Stay tuned
Thank you,
for
Gary.
another edition this week. By the way, we will have Daniel Kotke, who's one of the original team members of Apple and Steve Jobs' roommate,
Wow.
was involved in the early days of Apple. We're going to be talking about Apple and innovation, Apple and Steve Jobs. We're going to talk about, how do you foster innovation in a company like Apple? And we'll talk about Dan's role as one of Steve Jobs' friends. So stay tuned. That'll be happening Friday. To all of you out there that are in North America, in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving, and spend a lot of time with your family and friends. Enjoy yourselves, and don't eat too much turkey. So thanks a lot. Thanks, Sarah, and
Thank
take care of
you.
yourself.
GSD
Take
Venture
care.
Studios. Thank you.
Good to see
Bye.
you.